and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa. If you're new here, hi, how are you? I like to talk about books. It has been a hot minute since I've been up on this channel making content about what I love the most, books, and that's because, pandemic aside, I've been dealing with some of the worst things I've ever had to deal with in the last couple of months, and that kind of explains why I now have like 20 something books to talk about today in a book haul, because buying books is cheaper than therapy. I have actually made a lot of space on my shelves though. Like, I've got this huge gap here, I've got gaps in and out of all these little shelves here because I've been getting rid of some books. I've been giving them to family, friends, colleagues. I've mainly been trying to identify those in my connections that aren't usually readers and, you know, say, oh, would you like a couple of books to try, see how you feel. It might make you feel better in lockdown. So I guess that's also how I'm trying to justify buying so many books as well. But they're not all ones that I've bought. Some of them I've bought secondhand as well because I've tried new websites, which I'll talk about. Some of them have been gifts of people as well, which I'm really appreciative of. This is going to be a long video if I keep nattering, so I'm just going to dive straight in. So you may have saw on Twitter that I put some pre-orders in for books for the first time ever because I'm allowing myself to be a bit more lenient with my spends, treat myself, because God knows I need it. So I pre-ordered 2 books for the first time, and it was really exciting because with them was pre-order incentives. One of them has come in the post, I'm able to show you, but another one hasn't yet arrived. But these are 2 books that I've wanted the most ever. I've never wanted a book in my hands more than these 2 books. I've never been so excited for books. So the first one is Sweet and Bitter Magic. This came out, I think it was the 9th of March by Adrian Tooley. I've spoke about this a lot on my channel already. It was in one of my sapphics of the most anticipated sapphics of this year videos. It is a book about 2 witches that use each other in a way for their own benefit. Main character Tamsin commits a sin and she is cast out from her coven and cursed to not feel love. Other main character Ren is looking after her ailing father and she's struggling and she sort of like needs a miracle, and they meet each other and they strike up a bargain to help each other, but they don't get on apparently, to live like don't like each other to lovers type of thing. I didn't realise that this book actually had a map in, so I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, the whole cover art is just just look at it, it's stunning. And the pre-order incentives for this were really good as well. So this came from New York City, and when this got put in the post I had totally forgot I'd ordered pre-order things. So I was like, someone just wrote me a love letter from New York. I was ready to get my passport and my visa and be out of this country. So with this pre-order you got a bookmark that says Sweet and Bitter Magic on it. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I love that it has like a matching bookmark. You got a signed book plate for the book as well, and you also got like these stickers, which I'm not sure what I want to do with the stickers. I was considering like actually sticking them in the book and sticking them around these just to make this page a little bit nicer, but I really love them. I love that they're like herby. So that was like a really nice thing to get in the post. So I'm gonna now look out for like pre-order incentives on Twitter. That's how I found out about it, and that's how I also found out about the pre-order incentive for the next book as well. So if you're not on Twitter, it might be worth going on Twitter and following some authors of debut novels coming out this year and seeing if they've got some pre-order incentives as well. So the other book, like, I don't know which one I was anticipating more, Sweet and Bitter Magic or this one, but this one, oh my god, I have this in my hands. By the way, they both came early from Book Depository when I ordered them as well. So I had this one maybe like 2 weeks prior to its publication date, and I just felt like the luckiest person in the world. And that is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. I don't know if I mentioned that these both are debut novels, so I did manage to get the pre-order incentive for this one as well. So I'll be expecting a bookmark and book plates in the post. I think that's it. I'm not sure what comes with the whole thing. I just really wanted the signed book plate, if I'm honest. Also, can I just say this is the first time that I've had American hardbacks, and I didn't realise that they were different to British hardbacks. British hardbacks, the cover feels very paper-like. This feels very plasticky and weird, but I kind of like this better. It feels nicer and more sturdy in my hands. So I had assumed that all American hardbacks were going to be like this. But then when this one turned up, I was very confused because it's like, it's not the same size, like, which is strange because these are the exact same publisher as well. So I don't know, does anyone in the US have an explanation for this, because I'm confused. Anyway, A Dark and Hollow Star has the most stunning cover. Oh my god, have you seen the detail on this? Can you imagine how like hyped up this author must be knowing that their book cover looks like this. This is also LGBT, but it's not just sapphic. I believe there's a male-male relationship in this as well. I forgot what the word is for that we're using, like sapphic. Is it archaeology? I came across this book last year when I was looking for some more books that are similar to Crescent City by Sarah J Maas, because I loved that. I loved that it was sort of like this new adult urban fantasy, but what I was really missing from it was LGBT characters. This is an urban fantasy set in Toronto. It has fae, and it has like this mystery element to it as well, like Crescent City. So the main characters are a half fae, a fury, a fae prince, and the prince's guardian. They're 4 queer teens who each hold a key piece of truth behind the murders that are going on in their world, and they're trying to hunt down the killer together to stop the fae world becoming like open to humans and human knowledge. So to me this sounds like a great like follow-on for those that love Crescent City, that miss the fact that it doesn't have LGBTQs. And that book isn't out until November, so I had to fill it with something else. I don't know if Sweet and Bitter Magic is a standalone, but this is the first in a series. I've heard a lot of great things about both of them, and I will be doing individual reviews and reading vlogs for these 2 books on my channel. So they were my 2 pre-orders. They're like my babies. I love them so much. So next, I really wanted to get the Boneshards Daughter as well. And this was before I started thinking I'm going to allow myself to buy new books, because I don't buy new books. I've never actually bought a brand new hardback in my life. I knew I wanted the Boneshards Daughter, and I just thought to myself, look, bookshops are closed. Secondhand bookshops are closed. What are the chances of finding the Boneshards Daughter secondhand anyway? So I went on World of Books, and I don't know if it's just UK based or if it's got like an international presence, but I was able to find this copy of the Boneshards Daughter. Bearing in mind this is quite a new book, and it has the most beautiful hardback. Love the spine. And I was able to get this for £6. £6. It says it's used, but honestly this is like absolutely brand new quality. Like there's not even like a bend in it. It's like it's never been read. The quality is just absolutely perfect. £6. It says on Goodreads that this is a debut novel. This came out on the 8th of September last year. Like, you know, £6, I just can't get over it. And free shipping as well. God. This is an adult fantasy novel. It seems like it's going to have like a little bit of a dark side to it as well, and it also is LGBT. I've actually tried to read a lot of reviews about what this book is about, and I can't find like just a basic couple of sentences about this plot. It has a unique magic system. I believe the main character Lynn is the daughter of an emperor, and she can't recall any memories before she was 5 years old, but neither can I, so I don't know, is that common? And she's trying to unravel some secrets. The Emperor's starting to lose grip on his empire, and she's sort of like fighting the battle within the walls kind of thing. I'm hoping to read this one as well pretty soon, so if you want to see an individual review reading vlog like the other 2 books I've just mentioned, let me know in the comments. This book has so many great ratings as well. £6. £6. This is part of a series as well, so like honestly look at these together. I really need to start using Instagram mode just for pictures of these books. I was very impressed with World of Books, and I wanted to add some books to my order. I think I had to spend over £10 for free shipping, so I added 2 books to it. One of them is absolutely... It looks like it's never been used. I don't know how this is classed as used condition, but it's a book I've wanted for many years. It's been on my Goodreads for about 5 years, and that's Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. Like honestly, like look at it. The spine isn't damaged in any way. I think this was £3, and it's also an American paperback, which means it's like super floppy as well. So this book was first published in 2014, and it was one of the first LGBT books that was recommended to me through Booktube. Honestly, I don't think this has ever been published in the UK, which is why I've never found it in the UK secondhand. And it was always one of them books where I just thought, if I can find it secondhand, I'll get it. And I did. I found it like really good online for £3, so I'm obsessed. This is a contemporary sapphic novel. What I've gathered from the back of this is that the main character and her friend go to an estate sale of an old Hollywood legend, and while they're there they find a mysterious letter, and they start uncovering some truths and secrets about his life. It's quite a short read. It doesn't seem like it's going to take that long, so hopefully I'll get around to reading this soon, considering I've had this on my TBR for so long. And the other book I got, I think this one was about £3 as well. This whole order I think cost like £11 something, so it wasn't that much money. Again, another US paperback. I'm just so confused if the US paperback's in the UK, but this one is slightly damaged, but I don't know if this was damaged in the post, because those two books, when you order off World of Books, they ship from the location that they are in stock at, so everything leads to you. And Boneshards Daughter came in one parcel, and this came on its own in a different parcel, and it wasn't very well packaged, and I think the spine maybe got a bit compacted in the post. So I don't know what conditions actually shipped from World of Books in, but it's still in really great condition other than that. This could be the fault of Royal Mail, and it wouldn't put it past them if I'm honest. Anyway, I'm getting off track. This is also quite a new book. This was published in 2019, and this is sort of an Arthurian legend retelling. Princess Guinevere is going to be the wife of King Arthur. They've never met, and she's sent off to go marry him, but it's not like what you'd expect. Princess Guinevere is actually really tough and really strong, and she's actually sent there to protect him. So I'm assuming there's some female badassery in this. It is the first in a series. I was just very curious about this book. I've said this quite a lot of times, but my favourite YA genre is anything that's not fantasy, a fairy tale retelling. I don't know why, as a person that doesn't even like to read fairy tales, I love retelling so much. So that's why I've ended up with this one as well. So the next 3 books I got as part of a Waterstones voucher. I left one job and moved into a different department, but my colleagues in my last job, super close, and they were super sad to see me go. I miss them a lot, but they did send me off with a £25 Waterstones voucher, so I did treat myself to 3 books from Waterstones. It was an online only voucher. Usually I'd like to wait to go into the shops, because I think in the shops they have better offers when you can get buy one get one half price, which you don't really see online. I do have a £40 voucher from Christmas, so the day that the shop's open you will see me in the Metro Centre at Waterstones spending £40. I can't wait. But anyway, so £25 online voucher. I got, finally, Gideon the Ninth. Oh god. This cover like hates the ring light. Oh my god, sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, we'll have to have it like this. Oh no. This is another US paperback, and can someone please explain to me why this exists? I've asked this before, but why do you have... I don't know, I'm confused. This isn't yet published in the UK, which is a big shame, because at the moment this is £14 for a paperback, which is double what I would usually pay for a paperback. But if what I've heard about this book is true, then this book is definitely worth £14. It's the first in a series. I think this is LGBT as well. I might as well have just called this the Sapphic Haul. I've tried to read some stuff about this book, and honestly, confusion. Gideon is a reanimated skeleton necromancer. Brought up by unfriendly Ostafarian nuns, ancient retainers and countless skeletons, Gideon is ready to abandon a life of servitude and an afterlife as a reanimated corpse. She packs up her sword, her shoes and her dirty magazines and prepares to launch her daring escape, but her childhood nemesis won't set her free without a service. Something about trials. Honestly, I'm just confusion. This book is definitely one that I've picked up on a recommendation, not on what the blurb, summary, whatever tells me about the plot. So if you do want like a review of this one, let me know. Maybe I won't be so confused then, but maybe I will, because I'm not that intelligent. God, it's another sapphic. My inner teenager is like dying that there's so many books that I can get my hands on that are LGBT, but adult me is just like overwhelmed. So next we have Criers War, again one that I've been dying to get my hands on. And I knew I'd have to buy this new, so I was kind of like waiting until I had the money to buy it new. Again, it's another import with like a really shiny cover, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to like hold it like this. This is a young adult queer fantasy, and it's part of the trope which I'm absolutely loving the most at the minute, which is enemies to lovers. The main character is a human, and there's a war breaking out in this country between humans and those that are made. And the main character is a human servant who is trying to get revenge for the death of her family, and she believes that she can do that by killing the king, emperor, sovereign, just say sovereign, by killing their daughter, who is made to be beautiful. This is part of a series, so I'm excited to see where this one will go as well. I love this on the front. It says one mortal, one made, one loved, one betrayed. Perfect for fans of Sarah J Maas's Throne of Glass. Okay, we'll take that. And the third book that I got with the £25 was Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman. I love the purple sprayed edges on this. I got this one because I actually own book 2 as a hardback, so I needed to read book 1 so I could get around to reading book 2. Yada yada yada, you know the drill. People sometimes ask me, why do you buy or like why do you acquire sequels in a series if you don't have the first book yet? But if you're a reader, you know. You just know. Amy Kaufman is also the author of the Alumni series, which I really loved, and she also wrote these broken things, these broken stars, which was another book that I really liked as well, so I've been dying to get around to reading Aurora Rising. The year is 2380 and the graduating cadets of Aurora Academy are being assigned their first mission. Star pupil Tyler Jones is ready to recruit the squad of his dreams, but his own bonehead heroism sees him stuck with the dregs nobody else in the academy would touch. Essentially, the squad has rescued this girl from interdimensional space called Aurora. She's been trapped in cryosleep for 2 centuries and is a girl out of time and out of her depth. But she could be the catalyst that starts a war millions of years in the making, and Tyler's squad of losers, discipline cases and misfits might just be the last hope for the entire galaxy. Nobody panic. So this is a young adult space sci-fi drama. Things like this just are honestly up my alley. I love sci-fi as a genre, but I don't tend to like sci-fi written by just a man for the adult genre. For me, it's just too much. There's too much information. It's too smart for my stupid brain. So I tend to read the majority of science fiction for young adults. This person on the cover as well. I know it's like not a real person, it's a cartoon, but oh, these are pretty. Next was a Christmas present of Ali from Read by Ali. I'll leave a link to her channel down below because she does have a channel herself. And she sent me Crooked Kingdom. This was on my Amazon wish list. I am currently reading Six of Crows among all the other books that I'm reading. I've had Six of Crows for quite a while, but what I've wanted to do is I've wanted to read the Grisha series first. Obviously this TV series is coming out on Netflix very soon, and I want to have been caught up with the Shadow and Bone series and then Six of Crows duology before the series comes out, so I'm not spoiled in any way because I want to watch it. So much pressure. Basically, I'm just going to recap Six of Crows very quickly. If you don't know about it, it's misfits and they're going to do a heist. It's a dark YA fantasy. And this is book 2, which is the last book because it's a duology. I don't want to say much more about it because I feel like a lot of people know about this book already. I'm probably going to do a video comparing what I thought about the Shadow and Bone series compared to the Six of Crows series. I mean, if I did that, I'd only be like a couple of years late to the party, but we take what we can get. Too many books, too little time. The next 3 are all Christmas presents of my best friend Rebecca Reads. She's my best friend in real life and she buys me the best presents. She did buy me a Percy Jackson top as well, like a Camp Half-Blood top, which is unfortunately in the wash. I was going to wear it for this video, but I pretty much just live in it anyway. She got me 3 very chunky books. One of them, I'm going to start with the best first. Usually leave the best till last, but we're going to start with the best first. She bought me book 2 in the Poppy War series. This is the Dragon Republic. The Poppy War was one of my best reads from last year. It's an adult Chinese history inspired book. I do have a review for it, so I'll leave the link somewhere up here if you're interested in knowing more about that book. I'm not going to go into it too much, but if you haven't read it or you have not heard a lot about it, I would highly recommend that you go and add it to your wish list, TBR, whatever, because it is a fantastic debut novel and I can't wait to get around to reading book 2 as well. But this one is thicker. I'm probably going to read this when I know I can afford it. A couple of nights where I just don't sleep, because when I read the Poppy War, I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning trying to finish it, knowing I had a meeting at 9 o'clock, and it did not go well. So if you want to know more, go and check that one out. If you've read this series in full, please let me know which book was your favourite. I do worry when there's books 1, 2 and 3 in a series that book 2 is sort of like the quiet child. So I do have a little bit of like anxiety about going into this one, but I'm confident that this book will be just as good as the first one. Next, she got me 2 books I really didn't expect at all. One of them I hadn't even heard of, so props on her for getting me one that I haven't heard of. So the one that I did, which was on my wish list, I think, is Serpent and Dove. This is book 1 in a series as well. This does say that it's an imprint of Harper Teen, but I think this is described more as like older YA verging on new adult territory. This is a story which is enemies to lovers, like I've said, trope I love at the moment, and it's about witch and witch hunter thrust into some sort of marriage of convenience. It's a long read. I did not expect this book to be as long as it is. It's nearly like 500 pages. Oh, it's over 500 pages, wow. Probably gonna leave this book till maybe this summer when I just want to spend long days outside reading in the garden. Overall on Goodreads this has a really good rating, but it's been rated poorly by some people that I feel like I have similar reading tastes of, so I'm a bit nervous about going into this one. So if you have read it, let me know what you think. I do like that the characters in here are morally grey though. I think that's something that's missing quite a bit in young adults. So we'll see how I feel about this one. And for me, the wild card that she got me was Angel Mage by Garth Nix. Garth Nix is the author of really popular middle grade fantasy series Sabriel and Lyriel. Them books are like old, but I'm pretty sure his series is still getting updated. I was aware that he wrote books outside of his main series, but I didn't know what they were, and this is a standalone. And it was first published in the UK in 2020, so it is actually really new. Like the Boneshards Daughter, I have just taken a bit of time out to have a look on Goodreads to see if I can find like a sentence or two summary of this book for you. But I'm confused. I'm just as confused now as I was after I read the back of the book. I'm no further forward, guys. So what I can tell about this book is that it is an angel fantasy story. Angels were very big, maybe like 2010, 2011, probably even earlier than that, because my perception of time is just totally skewed off. In my body, I feel like a 22-year-old, but I have to tell myself, look, I'm 28 this year. At some point in my teenage years, angel fantasy was big. The main character, Lilith, is awakening from like a magical sleep, and the one thing on her mind is that she wants to try and get back to her lover, who was an archangel. Lilith was one of the greatest practitioners of angelic magic, capable of making the angels themselves do her bidding, and 4 young people have caught her interest: a doctor in training, a fortune hunter, a musketeer, an icon maker and scholar of angelic magic, and none of them know Lilith has plans for them. I'm very interested in reading something that's Garth Nix outside of Sabriel and Lyriel, so I'm excited to give this one a go. Thank you very much, Rebecca, as well, for these presents. Thank you, Ali. Really appreciate them. Next is one that I actually didn't find when I was out and about. Rebecca was out at a secondhand bookshop and she was like, I found this book, do you want me to buy it? So I was like, yes please, and transferred her the money, because at the time, I'd never had a book in my hands that was a Illumicrate. I have since, because I've been stressed, taken out an Illumicrate subscription. I know, it's so naughty. But this was an Illumicrate book that was in a secondhand shop and I had to have it. And that is Descendant of the Crane. I am going to say straight off the bat though that this author has had to republish this book so that she can have rights to the book. There's been some falling out between her and the initial publisher. The initial publisher treated her very poorly. So if you are going to go out and buy this book, please make sure that the publisher of the book is the one that she's republished it through. So this is an Illumicrate version, so it has red sprayed edges, and it also has the signed book plate in as well. Oh, there's a cute little card in it as well that says Descendant of the Crane on the back. This is a young adult debut novel which is Chinese inspired. It's a high fantasy, and the main character is the daughter of the emperor, and her father is murdered and she becomes the ruler of the kingdom. But she's very determined to find her father's killer, and the throne, it's not safe, it's not stable, it's very fragile. So to find her father's killer, in her desperation, she does enlist the services of someone whose magic is outlawed and banned, but she just doesn't know who to trust. A lot of reviews that I've read say politics and magic are really well woven into this book, and I love a book that's got like a lot of political intrigue as well. So I'm excited to get around to reading this one. I've just realised that's like my 4th hardback in this haul. I never ever buy hardbacks, so I might have like a special shelf just for my hardbacks because they're such a treat, they're such a luxury for me. And just seeing a Lumicrate exclusive edition on the back, oh, just warms my heart because it's special. Anyway, moving on is the Devouring Gray. Rebecca had this, she bought it, she wasn't feeling it, she asked if I wanted it and I said yes please, because I actually have heard some good things about it. Some of the booktubers I watch have read it. Sometimes I just like to be like included in the conversations and know what people are talking about. I do think this is going to be made into a movie or a TV show, so I expect that at some point in the future this is going to become a lot more mainstream. But Rebecca wasn't feeling it, but that definitely doesn't mean that I'm not going to like it, because one of the best books that I've ever read has come into my possession because Rebecca tried it and she didn't like it. So even though we're best friends, apparently we have slightly different reading styles. I'm not joking when I say this, but I looked at the back, right, in the corner here, there's like a diner. I looked at that and it made me think of Riverdale, and a lot of people in reviews are saying, now that I've actually just looked, that it's sort of like Riverdale-esque, but everyone is bisexual, which I'm not mad at really. I mean, Riverdale is a series that I got to like season 3 on and thought, oh god, I just can't do this anymore. How that is still in production, I don't know. This is a book about a main character who moves to a town that's in a woodlands and people start going missing. There's mystery and she needs to like solve the mystery before danger comes to her. It's a young adult high school drama mystery. We'll see how it goes anyway. I might like it better than Rebecca did. It'd be a shame to just let a book go to like waste though, so I don't know. I say it as a public service. Next is a book I got for Christmas off Jordan. Jordan is someone that I've met on Twitter and she's really lovely, and she has her own podcast now called Books to Last, which I'll put a link to in the description as well. This is a book I've wanted for the longest time. It's called Shadow of the Fox. I initially had my interest piqued in this from Brightness Katy Reads, who I'm going to talk about a bit later in this video actually, but she said that this book was really good, so I took a recommendation for it. The world is based on Japanese mythology, which is something that I've never read in a book before, so I'm very interested. Every millennium, the missing pieces of the Scroll of 1,000 Prayers are hunted, for they hold the power to call the great Kami dragon and ask for any one wish. As the temple burns to the ground, a Yumiko escapes with its greatest treasure, the first piece of the scroll. And when fate thrusts her into the path of a mysterious samurai, she knows he seeks what she has. Cage is under orders to kill those who stand in his way, but will he be able to complete his mission? Will this be the dawn that sees the dragon wake? This is book 1 of a series as well. Like I said, I wanted this one based on recommendation, so I'm really pleased that I got this as a gift for Christmas. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to get around to reading it. I wish I'd had this for my holiday to Japan actually, but I am planning on going back for a 3rd time once lockdown is over and I'm able to. So hopefully in the meantime I'll sort of get like my need to be back there fulfilled. I also have family there as well who would be nice to see. But yes, if anyone has any other books based on Japanese mythology, please do leave the recommendations in the comments. Time is really ticking on, so I just really need to get through these. Okay, The Memory Wood. My grandma is obsessed with crime books and I went to see her when we could do over Christmas, and she had like 50 to 60 crime books where she was just like, do you want any? Like, well, is there any that are actually any good? And she just sort of threw this at me, literally threw it and just said try this one. So Memory Wood, I don't know anything about it. I take it that this is an adult crime novel, never heard of it. Wow, so a main character comes across a 13-year-old girl hiding in the woods from a kidnapper, but he refuses to alert the police because in his 12 years the main character has never had a proper friend and he doesn't want the girl to leave. Crime is definitely the thing that I go to when I need like some fluff. If I've read a really good book and I'm like, oh my god, I know that because I've just read something so good it's going to put me into a reading slump, I turn to crime generally just to fill that hole. So I don't know, I'll give it a try. If it's something that I'm not like, and I'm pretty sure this is one that Rebecca will take off my hands because she's into crime as well. And another one that I got off my grandma is, look, I don't know how she comes across all of these books, but she will buy books from charity shops that she doesn't even like just because like she wants to support the charity shop. I don't know. She has a library, okay? If you rewind, if you go back to the first video I've ever uploaded to YouTube, was it the first or might be the second? I don't know. When I say uploaded to YouTube, I mean uploaded to YouTube that you can see publicly. I show off her library. She has hundreds of books, hundreds. And she's just sort of like, do you know who Rachel Kane is? Do you want this book? And I do know who Rachel Kane is. Sadly she passed away last year, but she did get me through my teenage years with the Morganville Vampire series, and I have always wanted to read more of her books after that. I don't know what this book is, okay, because there's no price on it. To me it feels like an arc, but I do know that this is the Stillhouse Lake series, but it isn't book 1. But because she was giving it to me for free, I've decided to take it off her hands in the anticipation of buying book 1, because I don't know, I just feel like it would be nice in the memory of Rachel Caine to read more of her adult books. The Stillhouse Lake series by Rachel Caine is a far cry from her Morganville vampire books, which is what piqued my interest because I actually did enjoy her writing in them, and you could tell that she had a great imagination, so I wanted to read something that was totally far from that. And this book series is an adult crime thriller series, and I think an author that has range like that is really impressive, so that's why I was curious to pick up this series. We are down to the last 3 books. Okay, this is a long video. So the next one is another gift that I got off Katy Gilroy. She is a blogger. I'm trying to get her to start a booktube channel because I would absolutely love that. So if you know who Katy Gilroy is, can you please like leave some comments encouraging her to also make a booktube channel, because I would love that. And she got me this because I wasn't feeling great, but the note that came with Amazon is so much nicer than the actual present itself. It says, "Ness, I love you. Hope this puts a smile on your face while you're having such a hard time. Keep going. I can't wait to squeeze you when lockdown is over." And when I read that, I like burst into tears. I had a meeting with work. I only opened it because I was really confused prior to my meeting, like did I order something and not realise, and then had to have a meeting with external partners from work, like with puffy eyes. Whatever. Katie, I love you. I can't wait to meet you. And she got me The Wrath and the Dawn, which was on my Amazon wish list. Another one that I've wanted for a long time because it is a fairy tale retelling. It's a retelling of 1001 Nights. This is a very popular young adult book, but it does have really mixed ratings, which is very interesting. People either really love it or really hate it. So I'm interested to see how I'll feel about this one. It is part of a series though, and the basic premise is that the Caliph is 18 years old and he's known to be an absolute monster. Every night he takes a new bride, only to have her executed in the morning. The main character, to everybody's horror, is 16 years old and she volunteers to marry him. And everyone's like, oh my god, what are you doing? Is this a death sentence? But she does it with a plan to exact revenge on the Caliph for murdering her best friend and countless other girls. Wow, okay, so this seems like it's going to be a very interesting plot. Although, it is a romance. It seems like a quick read. I'm really looking forward to getting around to reading this. Thank you so much, Katie, for sending me this. I really needed this to cheer myself up. Okay, so the last 2 books are part of the same series, so there's like a little bit of backstory to this. So I initially ended up with book 3. It's a series that I wanted to read for a long time, but I was going to hold off borrowing the first book from Rebecca, but then lockdown happened, so I wasn't able to go and get the first book of it. It's a series that she really loved, everybody really loves and raves about it, so I've been wanting to read it. I've had recommendations of Rebecca herself. I wanted to read it because Brightness Katy Reed spoke a lot about it, and so did Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. So I was just watching a video from Brightness Katy Reed, and she mentioned that if you commented on her, wow, okay, I did not know that was there. If you commented on her video, you'd be in with a chance of winning her giveaway for the 3rd book. And I was leaving a comment anyway, so I was like, while I'm here, I might as well say, can I enter into this giveaway? And I actually won, which I'm really pleased with. I never win giveaways, it just never happens. So the 3rd book initially came to my hands, and it is the Nevermoor series. So I won book 3 from Brightness Katy Reed, and I initially just knew it was a signed edition, so I sort of like opened it and it's like, oh lovely, it's like signed, but it actually says here burn brightly, but because I got this from Brightness Katy Reed, it's like I'm always going to think of her when I read this. But I didn't always, I've just accidentally, when it was on my knee, took the cover off and saw this, and I just did not know that this existed, hence the wow. This is like honestly like the most impressive book I've ever seen. I've never ever seen a book like this before, ever. Have you, I mean, what? Have you ever seen this detail in a book? Wow. It's like a work of art. So I'm really grateful to Katie for giving me the chance of getting my hands on the 3rd book in this edition. I think this is a Waterstones exclusive, so obviously had the 3rd book, needed to get on getting the first one. Couldn't get it from Rebecca because of lockdown, but Rebecca just ended up buying it for me off my Amazon wishlist anyway. I'm halfway into this. I am really enjoying it. It's a middle grade series about a girl that is the daughter of the Prime Minister, President slash thing of her world, and she's also a cursed child. So come, I don't know how to describe it, Eventide is sort of like a time that, like a period of, or like an age kind of thing. There's a new age going to be coming, and once this comes in, she expects it'll be around her 12th birthday, she will die. So anticipating that she's going to die, the dad doesn't like spend a lot of time with her, and he doesn't show her a lot of care and affection. And she's also not well liked in their town because she's cursed and people believe that she can make bad things happen. So I don't know, like anytime something bad happens, like someone's vase smashes, or the train is late, or the train derails, or someone is hit by a car, they blame it on Morrigan Crow. It must be her because she's cursed and she caused this, and her being here causes bad things to happen. So she has to write like apology letters to them. But she is offered the chance to, I don't know, it's kind of like an apprenticeship. She is given the chance to go and try out for this apprenticeship position in this other world called Nevermoor. His sponsor, Juniper North, he's really sweet, he's really nice so far. I don't know if that's going to change, but basically what he's offering it is protection and magic if she can pass these trials. I'm assuming she survives the first book, or else there wouldn't really be book 3. But thank you so much, Rebecca, for buying me this. Big surprise, did not expect that. Don't know what I've done to deserve such a good friend. And also thank you, Katy, for giving me the chance to get my hands on the third book in this edition. Wow, that's everything. Okay, I'm going to try and just like hold them up just so you can see like the bulk that I've just got through. I don't know if that's going to work though. I also need to take a thumbnail. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Okay, I'm already getting like bad shoulders. It's still going. Nah, this is not going to work. So ow, my toes. So these are all the books that I've just spoke about. Honestly, like this is far too many books for one people. This is like enough to get me through the rest of the year, but I have a £40 Waterstones voucher and I've just subscribed to William Creating Fairy Lead, so yeah, that's a thing. So thank you very much for joining me for this humongous book haul. You know, I could just like just do some exercise here. Do some squats. It's been great being back on my channel. I am going to film some more videos today and they'll be up on my channel in the next week or so. So thank you very much for joining me today. I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.